Hello everyone, welcome back to McRaeathon presents A Blast from the Past, and we're back with Maverick for Ridge Racer Type 4, so whenever you're ready, take it away.
Here we are, the second block of Ridge Racer Type 4. For those who just came in now, I'm MaverickHunterVile. I'm a Ridge Racer Type 4 enthusiast and speedrunner, and for this block, we are racing with all the extra trials of this game. As we mentioned before, there's an extra fourth mode in this game that you unlock when you beat Grand Prix mode for the first time, which is it's the extra trial mode, which you will unlock the 20th and final car of each combination through a sort of a duo race that takes place in a specific track of Grand Prix mode, depending on which combo you select. We have 16 of those, 4 teams and 4 manufacturers. We are starting with the grip cars. And on my go, we can start the run. Here we are in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so we're kicking things off with Aj Solo, Micro Mouse Mappy. So, we are on Helter Skelter, it looks like. Oh no, we're actually not a blue. Forgive me. Okay, so we are up against the. I am going to butcher the pronunciation of this so badly. The Ecuril. I don't know, it's French.
No
Anyways,
idea.
anyways, so it's a itsy bitsy little tiny microcar that I would imagine has all the grip and pretty zippy acceleration. Not too unlike Micro Mouse Mappy cars in this game either. So, extra trials. As he said, you're unlocking the final 20th car of each combination. So, Micro Mouse Mappy has 4 of them, 1 for each manufacturer, and so on and so forth for all the other teams. We are going to be watching, in this particular block, 16 races in total. So, right. So, the extra trial duels, the opponent car is kind of going around the track in a very specified speed, regardless of, what track they're on. And each of these trials take place on a very specific, predetermined track. So DRT, or might as well talk about the one we're doing right now. Micro Mouse Mappy does the Yokohama tracks specifically. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the Helter Skelter and Out of Blue.
Yep, Helter Skelter and Out of Blue. We have Dig Racing Team, which does all of theirs on the Fukuoka tracks. So that would be Wonder Hill and
Heaven and Hell.
And then RTS and Pack Racing Club. They just kind of alternate between Phantom Isle and Shooting Hoops, correct? Or
Yeah,
is
that
there a
would be
difference?
Pack Racing Club, yeah.
Okay. And then RTS does
The New York tracks. Edge
the
of
New
the
York
Earth
track,
and Brightest Night.
Forgot about those. Yep. Okay, so and considering my favorite tracks in the game, that's a little embarrassing. So we've very effortlessly cleared out Mappy's trial on Aj Solo. And now we're over to PRC. So,
Oh, look, it's your favorite track. It's me.
Oh, absolutely. Wonderful. We've got plenty of time to gush about the music in the next category, or next block, shall we say. But yeah, this game's got a bunch of banger tunes in it. So, as you can tell, if you know what you're doing, beating each of these extra trial cars is pretty much trivial. So the most difficult ones are going to be a fair amount down the line when we start tackling DRT and RTS type RTS opponents. But yeah, as you can tell on the first one in Out of Blue, he was very close to lapping the opponent car. But yeah, so
as a side note, I do actually lap the AI car in my current PV. You can check that out. It's in my channel.
Yup.
It's pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
And that's already DRCage. Look at that.
And so far as the car choice that he's using for each of these trials. So, usually, what would be usually considered the best car you get for your best performance at the end of Grand Prix that you'd unlock for that particular team combination would be car 19. In some cases, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the best car to use for extra trial, because if you remember, those are typically cars meant for that high-speed oval shooting loops. In some cases, it's better to use car 18, which means you would have to hold back a little bit at some point in the earlier stages to set yourself on the pathway to get car number 18 of every single combination. So usually, you would be, if it was Aj Solo, you would be driving...
Supernova is car 19, and this is Sorcerer, car 18.
Gotcha. For whatever reason, I was fetching Lycorn, and that was not correct. So, yes, so car number 18 sacrifices a little straight line speed, but is a lot more manageable in corners, and that's definitely going to be something you're going to want when you're being taken on tracks that are not shooting hoops. So, with that in mind, when you do get to shooting hoops, then it definitely pays to have the car with the best top speed possible, because, hello, it's a high-speed oval.
Yeah, we'll get there soon.
Yep.
Yeah, the main difference in car 18 and 19 is the acceleration in lower gears. Cars 18 have notably higher power in this case, which is very appealing for these Heat 1 and 2 tracks that rely on you taking some aggressive steerings. It's actually interesting to have these high acceleration cars. There are some exceptions though, we'll be getting there in a minute.
Yeah.
Less, actually. Oh, and I just noticed I'm stuck in fifth gear. Wow. Sorry about that,
Well,
ignore that. There we go.
If I'm honest, you were going so fast, we wouldn't have noticed unless you said something.
And this is one of the exceptions. We're now racing with car 19 Supernova because... I think that's self-explanatory, right?
Yep. So we are in Heaven and Hell, and we are with DRT. So, DRT's cars kind of lacking in the handling department, but the speed that they've got is crucial here, honestly. So, but as you can tell, Maverick's doing a pretty good job making short work of the Ecuril as is. So, you might be noticing that the cars that Maverick's been driving up until now kind of have a different style than what he was using for the 80% plus extra run. So, you got 4 manufacturers, as you can probably tell. You've got Aj Solo, you got Tarazi, you've got Assoluto, and you've got Lizard. So, 2 of those manufacturers are drift manufacturers. Assoluto was what Maverick was using initially, so that is a drift class manufacturer. So that means he's going to be, swinging out the back end on turns and, drifting everywhere. Lizard's the same way. What he's driving right now is Aj Solo, and along with Tarazi, those are more grip-oriented ones. So those favor a lot more paying attention to your braking points and, tackling with a little bit more precision, shall we say. So, hence why he's not kicking his back end out on these corners nearly as often, but still shooting through corners. Both of these different, types of manufacturers kind of, I would say it's kind of a, what flavor of driving you're most comfortable with, honestly, because there's plenty of people that like, the way drift feels, but at the same time, there's also others that prefer grip. So, pretty much the best examples here, Maverick very much favors drift cars. So the optimal manufacturer there is Assoluto. Dutchy, on the other hand, who's pretty much on par with Maverick, on the other hand, prefers grip cars. So whenever you see him run, he's going to be typically driving and favoring Tarazi vehicles because those are optimal. So
that wasn't a bad heaven and hell, actually.
Yeah, that looked very smooth.
A few hiccups on its side. And look at that commentator's curse. Great, we had to have one of those.
Next time we'll just, start, bragging after we've crossed the line.
And that was the last of the Aj Solo trials. We are switching manufacturers now. At Tarazi. And now we are in Helter Skelter instead.
3, 2, 1, go!
Yeah, one thing about the extra trials is that if the countries of the manufacturer and the team match, you race in a different course. So in Aj Solo's case, because Mappy and Aj are French by origin, you'll be racing in Auto Blue instead of Helter Skelter like Tarazi, Lizard, and Assoluto do. This is the first example here. Show. Woo. Yeah, that's... I need to brake more next time. Normally, Mappy is really easy in Grand Prix mode. But in extra trials, they really are challenging.
Yeah. Especially considering the car is now very different. It's no longer a small little micro car that you're driving against, but instead it looks like, just a giant land speed record, like rocket car that you're up against. But you're still very much beating it.
This is again. Sorry about that.
So this is Tarazi's car 18, so that would be... Sorry, I missed what
this is terrific.
The name of the thing is. The Terrific. This, honestly, to me, looks like... If you ever seen a speedboat, except it's a car, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it does kind of have that very aerodynamic, streamlined shape. So, yeah. So, later on, you're going to be seeing the Destroyer, which looks like a Hot Wheels car with a Toyota TS020 grafted onto the front of it. But for these, for these more laid-back trials, we're going to be seeing a lot of the terrific, and that is a very, very easy victory for Maverick here.
Still sticking with the terrific, this time Racing Team Solvolo. Here we are at Edge of the Earth again. And the rocket car is now colored gray.
Yep.
Oh yes, the right. Shoutouts to Slash Arbiter. It's his favorite song. That is one of my favorites as well.
Yep. In particular, they're really a fan of the organs that kick in too. Though in Extra Trial, the songs are randomized, but they are very specifically scripted in Grand Prix mode, depending on what type of manufacturer you're driving as and what team. So it's not really going to make a difference between like Assoluto or Lizard, but it's definitely going to make a difference if you're driving Tarazi versus Assoluto, because different type, so drift versus grip. That kind of leads to a few of us kind of having different preferences as to which song should play where, with the exception of Helter Skelter, which is always the same no matter what, Phantomile, which is Motor Species no matter what, and then Shooting Hoops always has Moving in Circles. And for Helter Skelter, it was, what was it? Oh, I keep forgetting.
Oh, Blue Soul.
Pearl Blue Soul, that's what it is. So, as someone who plays DRT Lizard myself, I'm always used to the objective in this particular track. For Maverick, on the other hand, let's see here, it was
Naked Glow.
Naked Glow here. So, yeah.
We'll be seeing those soon enough.
Yeah, we will be seeing those soon enough. But, yeah.
We had a rough start on this trial. Well, here we are. Normally, the Solvolo trials aren't this particularly difficult. At least not in Edge of the Earth. As you can tell, something's gonna run in Brightest Night. And that one is evil. 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 Evil.
But, yeah.
We had a rough start on this trial. Well, here we are. Normally, the Solvolo trials aren't this particularly difficult. At least not in Edge of the Earth. As you can tell, something's gonna run in Brightest Night. And that one is evil. But
Oh goodness, what's the name of the Tarazi supercar?
oh, that's Utopia.
Ah, the Utopia, right, yeah. So, yep. I would tell you what color it is, except A, I don't know, B, you're way too fast. So
It's a teal color.
yep.
It's just like it's a slightly darker shade of teal than the
Right.
car I'm currently driving.
Right. So the other thing to kind of note, when you're racing up against the number 20 car of, a particular combination, if the nationalities of the team and manufacturer don't line up, then it kind of gets, then the car you're challenging has like an off color or off livery from what is considered like their main color or whatnot. So the only for Tarazi, it would be specifically the PRC variant that would have the Utopia's what would probably be canonical color, you would reckon?
Yeah.
Right.
And if you
So
actually pay attention to the colors, the color of the liveries of the real versions of the cars, shall we put it this way, it's actually the same as the manufacturer's logo colors.
Right, of course.
So
Unfortunately, the only
Taraz-
one that I can.
Oh, sorry.
Unfortunately, the only ones I can really speak on is the Lizard Nightmare, which very much looks like a natural progression of 13th Racing from Ridge Racer and Ridge Racer Revolution, which, it's black with all flames and whatnot, which ties in pretty well with Lizard's logo, where it, black lizard on like a reddish orange background.
Oh, here we are
So-
shooting hoops.
Yep, so high-speed track, high-speed oval requires a high-speed oval car.
Here we go.
And that blue and silver Tarazi got left way back in the dust.
Oh, by the way, this track that's playing right now, it's called Through. Crusher mentioned just a while ago that in Grand Prix mode, the songs they are preset in a specific order, depending on the team that you play as. Of the 14 tracks, the race songs, only 2 of them don't appear by default in Grand Prix mode, and this is one of them, which I think it's a shame. This is a great song.
It's definitely a very vibey kind of song, honestly.
It just screams out of blue, though. Would be great there.
Yeah. It pairs nicely with, goodness, it was,
Racing
Man,
Team
I'm having a-
Solo out of blue. Yeah.
well, isn't it actually the same for all? Wait a
That's
minute.
the same for all except Mappy, actually. Mappy gets
Oh,
quiet
okay.
curves.
Gotcha.
The other teams, they get lucid rhythms.
That's yeah, what I was thinking. Goodness me.
3 laps to go.
But yeah, another thing that he's kind of illustrating right now as to why PRC Tarazi's not optimal. 6 laps as opposed to the 3, which he was explaining in the 80% plus extra run, probably about 20-ish minutes ago by this point.
Yeah, about that 25 minutes ago.
Yeah.
2 laps to go.
It's actually faster to go, if you want to play, say, any percent plus with Tarazi, it's actually better to use Racing Team Solo instead of Pack Racing Club, because you just lose time in both Grand Prix and Extra Trial.
Right.
That's a big no-no.
Mm-hmm.
I think PRC Lizard is also faster than RTS Tarazi. I would have to check. If you want to get fancy, try different combos, submit them to the leaderboards. You can do that. We have leaderboards for the main game. Main game has 4 of them, any percent plus extra, all extra trials, and the gruesome 100%, which I've done that myself before. And I'm actually doing one currently. I'm still at segment 2. I'll finish this eventually. Dutchie's doing that as well. Oh, and that was the last grid trial. Now we go to save and load menu to load the 8 remaining cars.
Yep. So, your personal garage only keeps a hold of 8 different vehicles, and you swap them out through the garage function. So if you don't have those, if you don't have it equipped, shall we say, in your garage, then you can't access the respective extra trial, because it's going to go, excuse me, you don't have the proper car for this, until you go to the garage and, manually put that, in your equips. So what he just did is switch to a save where he has all the drift cars equipped that he needs. So we are on Lizard now, and this Batmobile looking thing is the Lizard Cataract, and it's quite the interesting looking car, and we are racing against the Lizard Nightmare, which is supposed to be kind of a successor, shall we say, to the 13th Racing Devil car from Ridge Racer 1 and Ridge Racer Revolution. In general, that's the fastest vehicle in the game, question mark. So
Is
it, or is it? Oh, okay, gotcha.
Except in shooting hoops, naturally.
Right. Specifically the DRT variant, or is there a different version of it that's faster?
Oh, the DRT version. It's much faster than the others.
Right. Well, as a DRT fan, that pleases me a lot. So, but yeah. So, in general, which one of these extra trials would you say is the hardest of all of them?
I think it's a tie between DRT Assoluto and DRT Lizard.
I would probably err on the side of DRT Assoluto, actually, on that one.
Yeah,
so,
me too, probably.
Yep. So, DRT's extra trials take place on the Fukuoka tracks, as stated before. One of them is Wonder Hill, which is for all the which is for specifically DRT Blizzard, because American manufacturer, American team. All the other ones take place at Heaven and Hell, which is probably the hardest track in the game. So, and not only that, but DRT in general is in general kind of more oriented to top speed than cornering, and those are very twisty tracks. So naturally, you have your hands pretty full on those trials.
It's small.
Yep.
Oh, that's probably so.
It feels so weird hearing it in Phantom Isle, though, I will say.
It does.
Yeah.
It's weird to hear anything in Phantom Isle outside of multi-species.
Yep.
I do like hearing Pearl Blue So in Shooting Hoops, though. It's a nice way to close the final track of the game.
Right. But it's missing, a little something. It's missing, a very soulful singer singing Ridge Racer in the background.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
And I had to perform a save just now. And again.
Yep. Cool. Yeah, this vehicle is maybe a little bit of a handful. Is it?
It is.
Weren't you telling me that the Cataract is the heaviest vehicle in the game or something like that? It definitely looks it.
I think so. It must weigh over 3 tons.
Yeah.
It's really this heavy.
Yep.
So there's a feature in Rage Racer that wasn't directly carried over to R4. It's still there, but you can't see it. It's the amount of traction loss you need in order to initiate a drift. Because to start a drift, your car needs to decelerate. And that's a purple nightmare, by the way. So, some cars, they require less deceleration than others to initiate a drift. But car 19, in general, that is both Cataract and Ecstasy from Assoluto, they require a little bit more traction loss than usual, which make them a little, shall we say, awkward to control.
Yeah.
It's very easy to miss a drift with them. On the other hand, Cars 19, that is, we're gonna see it soon enough. Reckless and the Squallow that we saw in any percent plus extra, they are easier to control. They are easier to drift in comparison to Cars 18 of their respective manufacturers. But because they have less acceleration in, they end up losing a little bit of time in comparison. And what a save. Whew. And the man, as you may have noticed by now, every time I finish a drift or land from a jump, I downshift and the car gains a significant boost of speed. And that's another plus of Cars 18 in comparison to 19. They gain more out of those in comparison to 19. And if you're about to hit the wall, when you do that and you downshift immediately, you actually reduce the speed loss by a considerable amount. You still lose time, but it's way better than just let your car hit the wall and you lose a huge amount of speed. You want to have those practiced if you for some defensive driving in this game.
Absolutely.
Oh, and I forgot to finish explaining about those mechanics, the drifting mechanics, right? In Rage Racer, you can actually configure your car to be more drift style or grip based. It's not like your car is gonna grip like an R4, but they'll corner better at the expense of requiring more traction loss to initiate a drift. But if you tune it with a drift style, you will steer worse, but it will be easier to drift. These settings are just applied by default in the cars here in R4.
Yep.
You can't manually change this. Oh, Naked Glow in Wonder Hill.
Yep, so this feels perfectly right to me. Because in normal DRT Lizard playthroughs, this is the exact song that plays on this exact track. Going back to Rage Racer, though, speaking of differences between that game and this one, in this game, no matter what car you're driving, you have the choice to pick whether the car is automatic or the car is manual. In Rage Racer, you get that choice with a small amount of vehicles, and then there's a handful of other vehicles which, true to real life, only come with a stick shift. So, it kind of throws you in the deep end of the pool once you start getting into, well, actually that would imply that you start out, swimming in the deep end of the pool. You gradually get to the deep end of the pool, where it's like, okay, you gotta do manual, like you don't have a choice in the matter. So, in general, knowing the sorts of tricks with manual and, you know, how to effectively manage your speed and control while using it becomes paramount and required later on. So this is a very twisty track, and Maverick is taking this very high-speed oval cruiser and, you know, just slinging it around these hairpins and long, twisty bits like it's, you know, very much at home. So...
Harder than it looks. Harder than it looks.
Yep.
I actually prefer car 819 for this.
Yeah. So, as you remember him saying, this is one of the hardest extra trials in the game. Because you're up against a DRT nightmare on this one.
I actually drifted too soon. Was punished for this.
Yeah. Any kind of finer details we can talk about on drifting? So, like, when to brake to drift and when literally just letting off the gas will suffice.
So with these stage 4 cars, you're better off braking.
Right.
The
Probably
brake
because
drift is
you
a
need-
more aggressive method of initiating a drift. Because you steer, let go of the accelerator, brake, and then accelerate again. And that was the last Lizard trial. Oh, that was a mistake. Sorry about that. Should have been changed trial. Oh well. So
It's alright, nobody saw it.
there's an alternative method of initiating a drift, which you just let go of the accelerator and you steer, then accelerate again. Oh, look, the best song in the game. Because the stage 4 cars are so fast, and they have the aforementioned, oh my goodness, like you just saw, they have a certain difficulty initiating drift because they require a lot of traction loss to do so. You're better off using the brakes. Oh, man.
Usually it's in any percent runs where literally just letting off the gas is sufficient enough. And in most cases, actually optimal because you're minimizing speed loss while still getting the amount of turn-in you need from the drifts.
Yeah, ignore that. That was a terrible first lap.
Oh no, you're cooking, you're cooking.
Okay. I did say that the DRT trials are harder, but the Mappy trials are not far off though. No, not at all.
Which is interesting, typically, because Micromouse Mappy is generally the easy mode of this game.
But then comes
So it
extra
is-
trial. This gets
Yeah, and then
thrown
it
out of
comes-
the window.
Yep, extra trial in with the steel chair. So,
Well, at least from a speedrun perspective, though, because casual on a casual level, they're by far the easiest trial. The AI is really
Right.
slow. If
Yeah.
you want to clear this as fast as possible, then good luck, my friend. You're in for a ride.
Mhm. Right. I feel like that's probably the difference between me saying something's easy and you saying, oh, no, it is not, is usually I'm usually referring to like the price for failure, you know, the margin of error is very wide, you know, where you don't have to worry about needing to do it over again versus you where there's plenty of a skill ceiling enough to, you know, be able to get the fastest times.
Here we are, we're back to Phantom Isle with Assoluto. Only with a different car this time.
Yep.
But unlike the other manufacturers, we'll be sticking this until the end. This is the Assoluto Estasi. Got a lot of power behind it. Gains a lot of mileage out of these manual Tritons. So far,
Yeah,
so good.
Yeah, definitely running manual is the key to getting super great times on these. Or in this game, rather. There's a lot of things you're able to do that you can't do when the computer's taking care of your gear shifts for you.
And that's a thing in real life as well, if we're being honest.
In certain cases, there's so drag racing, for example, automatics have gotten advanced enough where they are actually literally more efficient at delivering power than a human can.
Oh yeah, that's
but
true.
Yeah, but yeah, in other disciplines, yeah, manual is definitely, you know, the very much the standard.
Oh, here we are at Heaven and Hell. We are racing the Assoluto Vulcano. Now we're racing a
Yep.
gray-colored UFO.
3, 2, 1, go!
And this is the hardest one in the. This is the hardest one in the run, I would say.
Yeah, this one is hard, man. Look at that.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, when I tackle this, I'm in a different car typically because it's hot off the heels of a any percent plus extra type run, or you know, part of our annual all special machines relay. Usually handling DRT and Assoluto myself, or DRT Assoluto Lizard myself.
Oh, that segment is a killer, man.
Yeah,
The job
it's
is just... Oof.
yeah.
I think we got by. Relatively unscathed.
I do believe it's unscathed.
Oh, unscathed, yeah. Sorry
Yeah.
about that, Paul. And I can't
That's
get this
alright.
right, can I? So because we go so fast and the cornerings are so tight, you'll see me braking sometimes. These are deliberate. This way I can... Oh, come on, Drift. Don't be mean.
Yeah, looks like you're just like, nope, we're not gonna lose traction right now. Are you kidding me?
Okay, we're back on track. Whew. I'm telling you that, yeah, I think this trial is worse than Lizard, now that I think of it.
Yeah.
Oh, what about car 19? Does it get any better? No, it doesn't.
It absolutely does not know. I'd be sweating bullets, you know, in the Squallow just the same.
Sure, Squallow does control better, but you're exchanging so much power out of car 18 Estasi. It's just not optimal, and you're still subject to the same kinds of mistakes here. Like here, you're better off going with, you know, balls to the wall. with Estasis power. Yeah, just use this, it's better.
But mind you, because it's car 18 and not car 19, that does mean you're going to have to hold back at some point in the early game.
Definitely if you're on an all special machines format or any percent plus, it's not worth going for car 18. Just go for 19. There's not much of a big difference.
Yep.
But here,
We're at the last one.
oh, rev limit phone, nice.
Absolutely.
It's not the objective, but I'll take it. If not the objective, it's this song.
Everything seems correct here. So, this is DRT's song for this specific track as well with drift vehicles. Salto.
Oof.
Goodness, with how quickly you get to the front, I dare say these aren't even duels. They're just glorified time trials.
Essentially. You want to make into a real duel, pick up your stage 3 car, and good luck beating this.
Yeah, that definitely feels like a much taller order. I could not imagine trying to beat the Lizard Nightmare and the Stage 3 Lizard Officer.
Oh no, it's not possible. Not with the officer.
No.
It's barely possible with the colleague. But that's the...
Oh no. Oh, I know the colleague, and I don't like how that thing handles. I'm sorry.
But you have to remember that you drove the colleague with DualShock.
That is correct, yes.
It's so much better with the Magicon. It's a different car altogether. It feels good, you're gonna like it.
I know, but it feels tainted, shall we say. Plus, that would require me forsaking my beloved Lizard Officer, too. Which is literally my favorite car in the game.
Actually, no, you can get the colleague with your officer. Well,
Right,
okay,
but then
you
that
have to
would be
lose out on blue, though.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
beat Edge of the Earth in
here
a
it
fast enough
comes.
time.
Yep.
Okay, we're near the end of all extra trials. As I cross the finish line, it's time.
Yep. And GG.
That's a 46-47. Not too bad. I am 40 seconds on my PB.
That's pretty good.
In spite of some massive mistakes, just got under 47, which is pretty solid.
Yep. It's a very good show.
Alright, Viper. Take it away. Oh, can you hear us, Viper?
No, they're here.
Yeah, I got
Oh,
you.
good. Well,
No worries, thank you very much. And just to kind of quickly mention, so obviously during this event, just to mention a few closing thoughts before we go to a quick intermission. Yeah, just want to quickly say as well, thank you currently to those that are supporting our event and keeping up with us and watching our event, watching our runs that people are putting on. We are going to have a quick 5-minute intermission, and then when we come back, we will have the last Ridge Racer 4 run, which is going to be All Manufacturers by Maverick. And yeah, so don't go anywhere, and we're back very soon. See you shortly.